some performances end the moment the lights go down. SB19's didn't. Within a day of walking off the alley on stage, the 5-member group was showing up in newsrooms from Chicago to Sao Paulo, in outlets that had never mentioned P-pop before. Welcome back to Stage Wire. Today we're not just talking about SB19's Lollapalooza set, we're talking about what happened after it, and why that might matter even more. Let's set the scene first. On July 30th, SB19 became the first homegrown Filipino act and the first Southeast Asian artist ever to perform at Lollapalooza in its more than 2-decade history in Chicago. Pablo, Josh, Stell, Ken, and Justin took the alley on stage for an hour, tearing through Damn, Gento, a live debut of their brand new single Lawless, and a run of fan favorites that closed with Crimson. Flags waved. The crowd roared. And by the time the set ended, SB19 wasn't just trending back home, they were already being written about in places far outside their usual fanbase. That's the part of the story that deserves its own spotlight, because international press attention doesn't happen automatically. It has to be earned. Start in the United States, where the Chicago Sun-Times, one of the city's most established papers, folded SB19 directly into its Day 1 festival coverage, running photos of the group on stage and naming them explicitly as the first Filipino boy band to ever play the fest. That's not a small mention buried in a lineup list. That's a hometown paper treating a Filipino act's debut as one of the defining moments of its own city's biggest music weekend. Forbes went further, publishing a feature built around backstage interviews with the group. Pablo talked about music's power to bridge different languages and cultures. Josh admitted the moment was nerve-wracking before they stepped on stage, then described the set as pure fun once the energy kicked in. Justin reminded readers not to take a stage like Lollapalooza for granted. These weren't quick soundbites tacked onto a lineup recap. Forbes treated SB19 as a story worth its own words. Then came an unexpected angle: fashion. Teen Vogue included SB19 in its roundup of the festival's best-dressed performers, alongside acts like 5 Seconds of Summer and Audrey Hobart. The detail that caught attention was the group's stage costuming, which incorporated brass pendants sourced from a fugo in the Philippines, woven into glam rock silhouettes. It's a small detail, but it says something bigger. International fashion press don't usually spotlight cultural craftsmanship from a debut act's home country unless they're paying real attention. Across Asia, the story carried differently. Asia News Network, a consortium that syndicates coverage across multiple Asian newsrooms, ran a piece framing SB19's set as a milestone not just for the group, but for P-pop as a genre stepping onto the same festival stages that K-pop has occupied for years. That distinction matters. For a long time, conversations about Asian pop music internationally have centered almost entirely on Korean acts. Coverage like this signals that the door is opening wider. And then, coverage arrived from a continent SB19 hadn't necessarily been chasing: South America. Brazilian outlet Alpha FM published a roundup titled 5 Lollapalooza Chicago Acts You Need to Know, and SB19 made the list, introduced to Brazilian readers with their 2018 debut, their status as the first Filipino act nominated for a Billboard Music Award, hit tracks like Gento and Damn, and their self-managed structure under 1Z Entertainment. For a market that didn't necessarily have SB19 on its radar, that's a direct introduction to a brand new audience. Put those 4 pieces of coverage side by side: a Chicago newspaper, a global business and culture outlet, a teen fashion magazine, a Pan-Asian news network, and a Brazilian radio outlet, and you get outlets with almost nothing in common, covering the same 5 guys from the Philippines within days of each other. That's the real headline here. Not one viral moment, but a spread. It's worth keeping some perspective, though. This kind of coverage is a genuine sign of growing recognition. It isn't proof of instant global dominance overnight. It's one more step in a longer climb. And that climb has been deliberate. SB19 didn't get here through a single viral clip. Since 2023, they've operated independently under 1Z Entertainment, a company the members built and run themselves. They're the first Southeast Asian act nominated for a Billboard Music Award, and 2 of their tracks, Gento and Crimson, have been submitted for Grammy consideration. That track record is exactly why international outlets are willing to give them real editorial space instead of a passing mention. Back home, the reaction matched the moment. The Philippine Department of Tourism, which had recently named SB19 as official tourism ambassadors, organized watch parties across the country. Manila, Clark, Cebu, Davao, Bacolod, and more so Otten, who couldn't fly to Chicago, could still experience the set together. Manila's Rizal Monument was lit up in SB19's signature sky blue color to mark the occasion. For a fan base that has voted, streamed, and shown up for this group since 2018, watching international press treat their group's milestone as legitimate news is its own kind of payoff. So what's next? SB19 isn't slowing down. They head to Japan's Summer Sonic Festival in August, performing in Osaka on the 14th and Tokyo on the 15th, sharing bills with fellow Filipino acts. After that, they're booked for the Pop World Festival in Texas this October, another major international stage, and another chance for outlets who've never covered them before to start paying attention. Here's the bigger picture. A single festival set doesn't usually make international headlines across 4 different continents. But SB19's did, because the story wasn't just a group performed. It was an independent Filipino group performed, and the world noticed. That distinction is what separates a good night on stage from a legitimate turning point. Which piece of coverage surprised you most? The Chicago Sun-Times, Forbes, Teen Vogue, or Alpha FM Brazil? Drop your thoughts in the comments. If you want to keep up with every twist in SB19's global rise, this is exactly what StageWire is here for. So hit like, share this with a fellow Otten, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss the next chapter. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one.